possible to bounce back after 12 surgeries? Well, we're going to find out today thanks to my guest, Lauren Miller, who is a stress management expert, and she is also an EFT practitioner. And Lauren is coming to us all the way from Colorado today. Lauren, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm blessed to be here on many levels.
And I'm blessed to have you. I know we had such a phenomenal conversation before we actually got on camera. Most conversations are about 20 minutes. And I mean, we chatted, I think, for over an hour, and we could have continued the whole day. So, Lauren, as I said at the beginning of this conversation, you are a stress management expert, and there's some numbers that I picked up on your website on stress that are really alarming, and I'm going to have to read them. So, stress costs corporations in America $300 billion a year in absences, medical costs, loss of productivity, and turnover. I mean, that's amazing. And that statistic comes from the American Psychological Association. Then you also have that 78% of American workers feel burnt out, and a third of Americans say that they live with extreme stress. Nearly 80% of all doctors' visits are stress-related. Wow. And 43% of adults who are sick say that it's because of stress. And the Harvard Medical School states that 80% of diseases are stress-related. Okay. So how is it this, I mean, this is insane. So how is it that stress is creating so much havoc in our lives? I mean, these numbers, they're kind of scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually, you know, when you read numbers like that, as with anything, I mean, you have a choice to respond with fear or curiosity. And I always encourage the clients that I work with and the human beings that come before me to respond with a spirit of curiosity. Okay, knowing this information, how can this invite me to move beyond my limitations from my perceptions that are causing me to see situations as threatening? Because we have the fight, flight, or freeze mechanisms woven into our being. And we may not be in the jungle. However, the jungle exists in our head. Mm-hmm. We still have the same physiological response when we perceive a situation as possibly threatening. It may not be, you know, hearing a twig snap behind us and thinking we're about to be attacked. However, that's how we feel by people's comments, reactions, circumstances outside of us. We constantly are fueled by either fear, doubt, or worry when we experience stress in our body. It comes down to feeling disconnected or unsafe in some way. We all have our techniques or our antics that we've come up with throughout our life in order to deal with moments of feeling threatened. The problem is our techniques or our antics do not serve our well-being and inner peace because they are fueled by farming our sense of identity outside of us in order to feel safe and connected versus pulling it in and moving from the inside out versus the outside in.
And could sorry to interject, but could you give examples when you talk about these methods are not serving us versus, I would assume, methods that are serving us? If you could, you know, give that sort of kind of comparison.
I'll give you an example. When we come into this world, we come in knowing ourselves to be enough. We come in just coming from the experience of creation in the womb. There was never a moment where we questioned whether or not we were safe. We simply surrendered ourselves to the force of life by God's hand within us. Then we're born. And if you look at the development or the stage of innocence, 0 to 5 years old, there is such a profound sense of presence, curiosity, and fascination. And then we move into the phase of farming our identity out to the world around us, caring more about what the world thinks and how they respond to us, farming our sense of identity out, giving our pen away to other people, saying, can you write on my wall and tell me who I am? Because I'm forgetting here. And so the work that I do is basically guiding humanity and men and women back to themselves as connected to God before they got lost in the act of life. Basically the drug of approval. There was a time in your life when you were younger, 0 to 5 years old, when somebody gave you positive feedback and said, wow, look at that little dance you're doing. So they clap, and then you say, this feels good. So you start doing a little more of that dance. Problem is, you start dancing for someone that is not authentically connected to the human being you're created to be. You start farming out your sense of identity to the people that are giving you the approval, and you become drugged. And then you compromise that inner freedom of curiosity and fascination and presence for the sake of recognition, acknowledgement, approval, prestige, all of these things that disconnect you from knowing that you're enough just as you are. No need to prove that. You can still go for what you want, but you're not bogged down by the negative energy that you're putting out trying to win the approval of the world around you.